Welcome, 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 my friends. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Dr. India White. I am so happy that you guys have joined me tonight. Come on in. Go ahead and share the show. I will wait on you guys before we really get ramped up tonight. I hope you guys have had a great day today. I know that it has been a very busy and wonderful day. I'm super excited. And of course, we've had some things take place. I barely was able to watch the news today, so I'll share out with that in a little bit. But hey, if you're just joining, again, my name is India, and I'm very grateful to be here among you guys today. A couple of different announcements. For one, the Real Talk Show with Dr. India White will be aired on live radio every Monday through Friday at the www.soulnet WKDH radio station, Monday through Fridays from 10 to 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in the morning. So if you ever miss the show and you would like to do a replay, guess what? You can have as many replays as you like. I'm so grateful for that opportunity there. We also will be featuring the show on the Swain Girl Media channel with Precious. Precious Swain is a phenomenal rock star and very dear to me. And so our show will also be streaming live. You will need to use Fire Stick to see it there. And we will keep you posted as the replays are filmed there. Now, another thing is, if you would like to follow me on social media, here are my handles. So go ahead and follow. My Facebook is Miss India White. LinkedIn is The India White. Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach. Instagram is Indie238. And my YouTube channel is India White 123. If you know anyone that likes to work on social media projects, send them my way. I have a million things I would like to do. So I would love to have someone that is interested in helping out in those areas. Now, the show tonight is going to be really neat. We're going to have a show on education, and we're going to highlight a phenomenal district, Hillsborough County. Now, before we go there, I do want to take a shout out really quick and honor a legend actress that is Cicely Tyson, who passed away today, age 96. And of course, we know that if she is 96 years old, what a woman. She paved the way for women like myself. No, I am not an actress, but if she did not have her representation there, I surely would not possibly be in education, and I would not be a speaker and doing the things that I'm doing. Even this radio show would not be possible if people like Cicely Tyson did not go before me and pave the way. So I just want to take a moment and honor this beautiful woman who had Grammys and just really made her way. With that said, now that I'm thinking about Cicely Tyson, I mean, she's an African-American woman who has done renowned work, phenomenal work. She's paved the way for other African-Americans. We know that in this time, representation matters. And if you think about it, we've only got so many days left, right? In this month. This month is about to pass over, and we are going to enter into February, which is Black History Month. And so with that said, it's very appropriate to now start thinking about that and thinking about how we can have representation, how can we have equity at the table, and how can we really honor those of various backgrounds. And so with that said, I'm super proud of Hillsborough County because I think they got it right in that area. They're very diverse, and 40% of the students are Hispanic, I would say 30% African-American, I believe. So you've got most of that student population is a minority population. And so they are very sensitive to that, and they are doing some phenomenal things. And so with that, I am going to bring onto the stage now a wonderful colleague, educator, someone who is really leading the way, someone that has a heart of gold, someone that keeps their word and knows how to make you smile and laugh and have a good time, no matter how stressed out you might feel. We go way back, and I'm so grateful for this wonderful individual who is an educator in Hillsborough County. And so I'm going to bring him out because he is going to really highlight Hillsborough County tonight. So with that said, Kato Nord, thanks for joining us. How are you tonight?
Good. How you doing, Dr. White? Thanks for the warm welcome.
You're welcome, my friend. It's always a good time with you.
Yes, yeah.
Greetings. Welcome to my show. So, how was your day today?
Well, it was kind of stressful, Teach. This is why I laugh so much. Teachers laugh a lot and clown
Yeah.
around a lot because we deal with quite a bit, during the day, and especially since I'm an educator in what's the so-called inner city,
Hmm.
and and I deal with special education, so
Right.
our highest needs population.
Yes.
I have a lot going on. I have a lot going on. But
Yeah.
hey, it's good to be needed.
Yes. Now, Kato, there are people that they might not know a lot about you. They might not have watched our last show. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself because you taught us about what you do with education, but tell us about you, who you are, a little bit about your background.
All right, thank you. Well, I'll try to make it brief. First, a quick shout out to my home country, Haiti, where I was
Okay.
born. It's my net gator. I've been in the United States since 1985, since a burn accident, a cooking accident, uh,
What
and
happened there?
well, my mother, as many people do outside the United States, my mother was cooking dinner outside, a pot of boiling rice in the ground. It's sort of like a shallow pit. And
Okay.
she passed inside for a moment. I was playing not too far away. I got too close and I bumped the pot of boiling rice over onto the left side of my face. And I instantly sustained second and third degree burns. About a month or so later, my one of my aunts took me on horseback to about an hour and a half horseback ride, to a new hospital called L'Hôpital Bienfaisance, which basically means good news hospital, which for me it was because I would have died without the care of the
Yeah.
American Dutch missionary team that had come to Haiti, to that hospital to perform such procedures, for the locals. So another American missionary arranged with Shriners in the Shriners Burns Institutes for Children. Now it's called Shriners Hospitals for Children. To bring me over since she could speak both Creole, my native language, and English fluently, and that was required for some to bring a Haitian child to the United States. So I ended up having to stay here. Ended up having about 15 surgeries, 15 plastic reconstructive surgeries from 1985 to 1995. It's required to stay here so I can continue medical treatment. So my new mom adopted me. She taught me English in a short amount of time, enrolled me in Christian schools in Arkansas, then later in Florida. Got done, went to HCC, USF, did some IT stuff. That was a lot of fun. Transitioned to education, and here I am tonight.
Well, that was a phenomenal intro, and thank you for sharing
Thank you.
that valuable information about yourself. Thank you, Kato, and I'm grateful that you did survive that burn accident because you have made me laugh 1,000 times, and I could not imagine the world without you, my friend. So I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful for all that you've contributed to education. And so, with that said, we just talked about Cicely Tyson, and goodness, she just passed away. She's 96, and we know Black History is coming around the corner. And I know you're in Hillsborough County, and I know you're going to highlight some things tonight that's going on there in that phenomenal district. So, with that said, I just kind of want to let just hear your thoughts about just the season that we're in, and what you think you guys have planned over there.
Okay. Well, first, of course, I'm grateful for the opportunity to practice one of the things I love. The reason I became an educator is partly because my adopted mother was an educator, a lifelong educator as well. So from the time I was
Okay.
very young, it was instilled in me that knowledge is something that no one can ever take away from you. Knowledge is a vehicle through which you can ascend to the highest heights, and you can make
Right.
a positive impact not only in your world but in the worlds of everyone that touches you. So I guess it was destined that at some point I would become an educator. So again, glad to have my first chance to do that professionally in Hillsborough County, the seventh largest district in the country, and got great board members, great phenomenal teachers. Over 24,000 of us in the area, and just doing our best to impact everyone one child at a time. So
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you. So that
Now,
brings me. Mhm.
go ahead, Kato. Go ahead.
Oh no, no, you can go ahead if you're gonna
No, I was just
add
going
any
to
more
say,
to it.
like, you were saying a lot of phenomenal things about how Hillsborough County prepared you in education. And I wanted to see if you could kind of walk us through what your journey was like, because some people are not in Tampa Bay, so they don't know.
Yeah.
So, talk to us about maybe the demographics, the population. What was it like as a teacher entering there? How did you have supports? Um, and why have you chosen to stay for so long?
Okay. Well, all good questions. Well, first, the journey into public education was somewhat of a cultural shock for me because when I was growing up in Little Rock, Arkansas, again, I attended a private school, Christian school, and I had an excellent education. When I came to Tampa, Florida, I continued in another Christian school, had an excellent education that prepared, really, as we say, prepare you for life. They really prepared me for life to the place where I was able to graduate 2 years early from high school, and then start as a freshman student at Hillsborough Community College. Earned my AA computer engineering while taking music classes. Went to USF, got my MIS degree and my MBA in entrepreneurship. Um, and so, after a few years of doing IT, I decided, corporate America just wasn't the thing for me because there wasn't a lot of loyalty and love.
Hmm.
Just way too many layoffs after the Great Depression. 2007, 2008. All the companies were getting their bailouts and making you more money, paying them back quickly, making you more money, but not rewarding the people who got them there.
Right.
Reciprocity
Mhm.
is a really big thing for me. So I said, big picture, this is not for me. I'll try to get into education because I love kids. I've done different things. I've been a tutor in the inner city since I was age 14, in mathematics, English, other subjects. And so, I had a long background in over 20 years in tutoring, test preparation, working for myself on the side in those areas. So again, education was just a natural next stopping point. I had a chance to teach for over a year at Hillsborough Community College in teaching algebra and also teaching business communications. So, all the steps of how, an adult can get a job and keep a job. I taught them all that. And then got into special education full time. And the best thing I had was I was blessed to get into a program called PATH, which does not is not currently being funded, but it was from a federal grant which paid for STEM professionals to transition into special education.
That's nice.
So it paid for all of
Yeah.
the college level courses, for the reimbursed us for the certification testing. So again, I took 4 tests in about a year and a half. All my certification tests, knocked them out one by one. I had great support from the school district. I had more mentors than the average teacher has. Most new teachers just have one mentor. I had at least 3 mentors,
That's nice.
over my first 2 years. So, they taught me everything they knew. Of course, you, Dr. White, you taught me everything you knew as well about the business of education, as well as the practical side of education, the politics of education. Uh, None of which I'm going to get into right now.
I tried to teach you how to teach math, Kato.
You
Okay, I just
did,
tried to.
but you also taught me how to survive in a educational bureaucracy when you are not in the majority. And those lessons were extremely invaluable for me because I understood that it's not just what you do, it's the relationships you have and understanding how you have to carry yourself as an African American professional, sometimes differently from others, in order to sometimes get the same opportunities or to capitalize on the same opportunities others take for granted.
Now that brings me to someone brought a comment on the show. Veronique, she says, "How do you think Cicely Tyson influenced Black and Brown children in education?" Now, I'm going to go here, not just Black and Brown children, but even educators like yourself. How do you think she has influenced people in education? And I'm going to let you talk about it, and I might chime in a little bit as well. But I would love to hear your voice on that. And why do you think we need to know about people like Cicely Tyson? Maybe actresses like her needs to be in the textbooks that our children are reading, possibly.
Right.
What's your opinion on that, and how she's influenced students?
Right. Well, you're absolutely right. Now, I am somewhat new to Cecily Tyson, but I do thank people like Tyler Perry for bringing Cecily Tyson even more into the public consciousness as far as newer fans, making newer fans, for Cecily Tyson. Our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, most certainly knew who she was because she's been iconic since the day she stepped on the screen.
Right.
But again, being in Medea movies, that really brought her into a current pop culture icon status. And people just realized, man, she's great. Then again, she was also in how I believe how to how how to get away with murder, which was of course a blockbuster evening show. So she gained even more fans. But again, I think the link to education is that forefathers and foremothers like Cicely Tyson taught us to be excellent at all levels of our journey. You never know when somebody's going to notice you. You never know when you're going to have an impact on just one person. So always, always do your best the first time. Always strive for excellence, knowing who you
Excellent.
are, where you come from, and the journey that you had to make to get from where you were to where you want to be.
That's a powerful, powerful response. Thank you, Kato. And the
Yes.
thing that she has taught me, as an African American female, uh, would be a lesson of emotional intelligence, a lesson of patience, a lesson of class, a lesson of endurance. I mean, for her to be 96 and to be well respected by all races at her age, and to have the red carpet rolled out to her was not an easy task. And I think that's why different districts like Hillsborough County are doing a phenomenal job with being able to kind of celebrate diversity and to celebrate those like Cicely Tyson that have walked among us, and even well-renowned leaders and up-and-coming leaders, even in the realm of education. So I think that Hillsborough is definitely on the right track, and so because of that, I kind of want to highlight this wonderful district tonight, and I think you're going to help me do that. Um,
Oh, thank you.
so, how long have you been with Hillsborough County? I know they have a graduation rate right now of 88.8%. How do you feel about that? And talk to us
Well,
about it.
But I feel we're on an upward trajectory because, again, Superintendent Jeff Akins and the school board put together, an audacious plan a few years back to target 90%, within the next few years. And so, not too many years ago, Hillsborough County African American graduation rate was maybe 73%, or the overall rate, I'm sorry, was about 73%. And although I don't have all the numbers in front of me, I know, like you said, to date it is 88.8% or so, which represent the huge, huge gains. There's still a lot left to do, because again, there's certain benefits, opportunities, avenues, privileges, maybe that students in better areas of town have, than those in more suppressed areas of town. So we still need to work to pull them up. But as we pull up the lower performing students and students with more challenges, then we all rise. So I think we're seeing that. And also, there's a buzzword these days that goes around educational circles. It's called being intentional. Okay, everybody likes to use the buzzword. But what that means is don't just randomly, wing it and hope you get there. Put concrete plans in action, and then put capable, competent people in place who can execute those actions to get to reach or even surpass that goal. So Superintendent Akins, the current superintendent, the board, so forth, I believe have put some people in place in key positions that will get the district overall to towards reaching those goals. So again, everything's not pie in the sky. There's still a lot of work to to be done. There's still a lot of work in equity. Not every student has a computer or technology that they need in order to be successful with at-home schooling or e-learning, or virtual school. But hopefully, as businesses, nonprofits, so forth, and philanthropists step up, more students will have the needed technology in their hands to advance their education.
I think that's beautifully stated. And the thing that I think about, you said we need more philanthropists. We do. I think the work of equity is everything. I'm a product of equity. I went from a homeless shelter into a college dorm overnight, and that was
Right.
not just because of India. That was because I had 18 scholarships, including a full ride for Bill Gates. But a lot of my scholarships came from the community, and it came from philanthropists. And that's the key: is we need more community sponsors and philanthropists to raise up and say, you know what, I know that this you might not be able to give $1 million to the school
Right.
district. But you know what? Every bit counts. So you might be able to, give a grant to a particular school of interest, a school that has an underserved population, or you might be able to partake in a 5K run and give that
Right.
donation over to that school district. There are so many different things. If you have a TV or a t-shirt business, maybe you
Yeah.
can donate t-shirts to that school. Or if you're a restaurant, maybe you can donate food to local schools in your community that need it. Not just the same schools that might not necessarily need your resources. Spread the wealth. So I think this is phenomenal what you're talking about. And I think that Hillsborough County is definitely in the right direction. And so, with that said, talk a little bit about equity. Let's talk about equity and what that looked like for you as a teacher right now. You're in the front lines. What does that look like for you in your classroom? You mentioned kids don't have laptops, or they might not have certain resources. So talk to us about what it is that you teach, what you've been able to use, and maybe I guess a wish list that you would have to those that are watching that could support you in your endeavors of teaching students
Okay.
today.
All right. Well, I've been very blessed to be transferred into a magnet high school in one of our underserved communities, which is East Tampa. So this wonderful magnet school has programs like biomedical science, robotics, computer gaming design, so forth. And I do like the fact that students, magnet students in my school, uh, attend classes with the so-called regular students. So it's not segregated as in some magnet high schools where the magnet students have their own wing. They never touch the general population. The general population kids have their own side of the school there, and they never cross paths. I think it is important for kids to see excellence on a daily basis and to understand, the honor student next door or in the seat next to me is no different than I am.
That's
Maybe
beautifully
he
said.
has
Yeah,
better study habits, or maybe he or she was able to benefit from a tutoring program after school or at home tutoring, or maybe that student signed up for the Khan Academy and that's how they prepared for the SAT and the SAT, so we can all kind of rub shoulders and help each other, advance. But again, being that I'm a teacher of special education, I deal with the most severe handicapped students. So, some of the students that are wheelchair bound, um, students with Asperger's syndrome, students on the autism spectrum, so forth. I see just about all points of the scale as far as special education and different learning abilities. So I have to really be tuned in to what's going on with the students that are doing e-learning because I'm asked to teach students that are in brick and mortar right in front of me and simultaneously to teach students that are at home.
now what is that experience like for the audience?
Oh
What
man,
is
it's
that like
very,
on
it's,
a daily basis? Like, how do you maintain that? How do you manage that?
oh man, it has so many moving parts and there's no complaint. But the fact is, you do have to be willing to learn and understand. You don't know everything about technology. knowledge, no matter how much you know. So we brought in a brand new learning management system called Canvas, which all teachers are expected to capably use. You know, you upload your homework assignment, some of your tests, your quizzes, videos, you know, whatever material students at home need to be able to use during or after class, you know, to prepare for their education. And we use Zoom, for example, to broadcast the lessons. So hopefully students click on the Zoom link, and then we're able to interact with them. In some case, they may interact with the rest of the class, as they're doing their lesson. And there are points of discouragement along the way. Some students, again, having learning disabilities. Some students have difficulty remembering what days and what times they're supposed to attend what class. So then sometimes you have to stop what you're doing, call them in the middle of class, and say, "Hey, buddy, you're supposed to be on the link right now. It's time for Algebra One or Liberal Arts, Math, or Hope, which are
Right.
the courses that I teach. Being a math educator." I need you to get on here. Come on, let's get this done together.
That,
I'm here for you. You gotta almost drag some students and their
I'm
parents.
thinking, I commend you on
Yeah,
being able to motivate those learners like that.
right.
And so
And it
I can
is
only imagine.
challenging. Yeah, it is challenging because on the one hand, sometimes you're tempted to say, you know what, we've been in school since August, and I know you don't forget what time to watch your favorite cartoon.
Right.
I know you don't forget to play your PlayStation every day after you finish your school day. So why are you forgetting whether this is day one or day two?
Right.
You've had the same exact block of classes since about August 24th, 2020. Let's get it together. And in some, I'm serious. You have to laugh to keep from crying. In some cases, equity looks like this. We literally will print out the schedule, the monthly or quarterly schedule showing day one, day two, because in my school we have block schedule. So that means you have four
Right.
classes on one day, four different classes on the next day. Okay, you have obviously lunch each day. Okay, so we will print out that schedule. We'll print out materials from the class, from classwork, and we will drive it to a student's house,
Oh, wow.
hand it to the parents,
Wow.
and say, we're here to help.
Huh.
We don't want the student to
That's
continue to fall
amazing.
behind. Instead of throwing our hands up, we're like, well, hey, you saw the work up there posted in Canvas. It's been there every day. You see the syllabus. We've had it for you a million times. The Zoom link's right there. Hey, there's something that's keeping that student from being as successful as they could be. And so
Yeah.
we have to constantly encourage them. No, we're
Wow.
not going to save everybody, but we're going to save some of them. And
Yeah.
every child needs a second chance. Sometimes it's difficult to rise above the current environment that you're in, and you need somebody who's
Wow.
been to where you want to go to tell you, hey, here's another way. When you're studying, this is what you need to do. Organize your schoolwork like this, and it's going to make your life a lot easier.
Wow.
Call this helpline on Thursday nights. Hillsborough
Yes.
County Schools has the MHH Math Help Homework Hotline, and whatever the
Oh,
topic is,
yeah.
it's not the district. Yes, every Thursday night on Verizon, FiOS, and Bright House or Spectrum networks. You
Uh-huh.
can look it up. You can Google it. They have MHH Math Homework Hotline, and you can call and get help with
MHH,
your
is
homework.
it
Yes, math.
MHH.com or is it?
No, no, no. You can Google it on go to YouTube or just go to Google and type math homework hotline. Okay, and it'll come up. Let's see. I can probably do it right now. Tampa homework.
I'm gonna type it in my
Yes,
little
yes. If you type in
thingy.
math homework hotline Tampa, the first result that comes up says math homework hotline Hillsborough County Public Schools. You can click that link and it takes you right to the main school district webpage. And from there, you can click the green button at the top right or middle center right that says Watch MHH Live.
Wow.
It's 6 to 7 p.m. every Thursday evening. Spectrum
That's
635
awesome.
or Frontier 32 813-840-7260. Now, this primarily
Can you
focuses on
repeat the
middle
number?
school math. Yes, for middle
Yeah, can
school
you repeat the number?
students, yes, the number is 813-840-7260. Teachers, certified teachers from Hillsborough County start taking your questions at 5:30 p.m. on Thursdays, and the show runs from 6 to 7 p.m. You can go back and watch the archives of every weekly show on the district page, I believe, and also on YouTube, on the YouTube channel.
That's amazing. That's
Yes. So
absolutely an
resources like
amazing
that.
resource. Yes.
Yeah, so resources like this, sometimes you have to take it and hand it to the student and the parent
Yes.
and say, here it is. Your child's not going to cross the stage by themselves, and that's okay. We'll be there
And
every step of the way.
I like how this example of equity, it's not even race related. It's just
No,
it's a resource that serves all students where they are. So it's
that's
to say, okay, like you said, your example, there's a difference between equality and a difference between equity, right? So equality is okay, I gave you all the Zoom link, figure it
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Whereas equity says, no, I'm going to drive to your house. Equity says, I'm going to call you. Equity
yeah,
says, I'm going to print out extra notes for you. But each way, it's like I'm doing whatever it takes to meet the needs of that particular child to make sure that the plan specified for that particular child will work. And so
yeah.
I just have to say my hat goes off to you. My hat goes off to Hillsborough County, and how you guys have been equitable. And I know you teach math. What math are you teaching there, and what resources have you been able to use that have helped you?
Oh, great,
And
great question. Yes, I've been. This is my seventh year as an ESE certified teacher, um, teaching Algebra One, Liberal Arts Math, and now also Access Points curriculum, which is
yes,
Access Liberal Arts Math, Access Algebra One. I've also taught geometry in the past, but not currently. Access Points is again for students with the most severe learning disabilities. They may not necessarily be able to pass the traditional standardized county and state testing. Okay, but they get a lot of the same type of work because they have to be competent in the subject, but they get different types of help. Okay, customized student, one-on-one student help in small groups.
okay,
To again get as close to mastery of the math concepts as they can. Now, one of my favorite resources is Big Ideas Learning math textbooks. Okay,
okay,
which I used when I was teaching middle school at the North Tampa Alternative School, and now I also use at the high school where I am. Okay, I love Big Ideas Learning, not just because I'm an educational consultant in the state of Florida. Great opportunity which a dear friend walked me into about a year ago. Thank you very much. But also because of the way the problems are arranged, the white space, there's plenty of space to take notes in the margins of the text. Now, I myself don't use textbooks. Okay, I don't use the hardback textbooks. I use the online version. So
okay.
I
Like
log into
ebooks?
clever.com, which is again a resource that every Hillsborough County student and teacher has. Log into clever.com with my information. I bring up a big ideas learning math link, and then for each class, liberal arts and algebra one, I can look at the different textbooks. I can download and print out worksheets, for all the students. I can look at lesson plans that are very helpful. And then there's also my understanding is that there are new apps that Big Ideas Learning has come out with that will help with equity. That in that these math videos through the apps can be viewed offline even if you don't have an internet connection, which is great, right? Because again, we're trying to reach everybody where they are, and not everybody has a data plan. Okay.
It's all yeah, it's all about reaching the students where they are and making the
Yes.
students feel that they are a part of instruction and that they are a part of that classroom environment. It's
Right.
everything.
Right. Even
Yeah,
down to the types of even down to the types of math problems you give them. Giving them everyday math problems. Like for example, in class, I was teaching students how to combine like terms. Right. Or add and subtract things that look alike. So instead of using a traditional math problem, I gave them a McDonald's real life scenario. You go through the drive-through. There's three people in the car. They all order different things. You can represent those different things kind of like you would a variable with different pictures. Okay, and then if you do your math in pictures instead of numbers, sometimes it's a lot easier. You know, because
that's
a lot
true.
of our children are visually oriented. They love rap and hip hop and art, anything artistic. Okay, so if they can do math a little bit different, math which is they say is boring, they can draw all the pictures they want and answer the math problem. Then hey, that might be something that saves a math student and
That's so
keeps them
true.
engaged for a little while longer in school till they graduate.
And you spoke about something, and I know you're part of Hillsborough County's task force, and I'll have you highlight that in a minute. You spoke about the different type of examples that are in the textbook, and this is something that I have been passionate about. When I used to teach math, I tried to make sure that when I used word problems, that I used word problems that either had activities that my students could relate to. So, like, five kids are at the basketball hoop throwing shots and your friend needs five 3 pointers and how many total or so I
Right,
don't know,
right,
or I
right.
would use names or cultural activities
Yeah,
to kind of have my kids synced in and feel like they were actually a part of the class. There's nothing like keeping a kid on task when
yeah,
you pull Gerard's name and
yeah,
you put
yeah.
him in the class bell work, like it's just, it wakes them
Absolutely,
up, you know.
absolutely. They're like, oh
It's,
my God, I'm part of the I'm part of the
yeah,
plan.
they love
You know,
that. They
yeah,
absolutely love that,
yeah. I'll
and
give
so
you,
yeah, go ahead and talk about
I'll
your
give you,
experience.
yeah, I'll give you an example of being culturally sensitive teaching. Let's say I'm teaching a group of Latinos students, Haitian students, so forth. Well, and I give them a word problem. I'm dealing with fish and seafood. I'm more likely going to talk about tilapia, but I'm not going to mention mahi mahi because guess what, folks? You may not think of it this way. Mahi mahi is a rich person's seafood dish, a rich person's fish. You know,
Hmm,
tilapia is a fish that is enjoyed by people from all walks of life. So small things like that you pick up over the years. A kid that's never seen mahi mahi doesn't know what that is going to be like, what in the world is that? That's stupid. I don't understand it. But immediately you tell them, hey, you have five tilapia. Then they're like, oh, yeah, I know what tilapia is. Because there's not a Jamaican or a Haitian student or too many Latino students that don't know what a tilapia fish is, or
I
that
like
is
that.
a fish without being told.
Yeah,
So
like
just small things like that. When you have what's so-called privilege, and you've been at a certain status, at socioeconomic status for a while, you tend to forget things like that.
hmm,
So being in teaching in inner city schools keeps me honest and helps me always remember my roots. You know,
that's beautiful, and I'm so glad that you're culturally responsive as you teach with, different curriculum, including big ideas and I think you mentioned Khan Academy and some other
yes,
ones out there.
yes,
And I think it's important to also have representation of various races within books as well. I
yes.
know, whoever would be making a textbook, like, in future years, I'm sure Cicely Tyson will be in the textbooks, like,
I certainly
and that's
hope
just
so.
one of those things,
I
that
certainly hope
students
so.
should learn about,
Yes.
you know?
And there's another big point of Dr. White about being culturally responsive. A few years ago, I was in a leadership position in a school district in math where I had the opportunity to vote on what math textbooks sixth, seventh, and eighth graders were going to be using. So I voted for the textbook company that was most culturally appropriate. For example, if the county that textbook company was dealing with had 70% Latino students, then guess what? 70% of the illustrations in the textbook revolved around Latino culture or Latino people or Latino things.
Hmm.
Okay, so again, I'm always trying to walk the walk and talk the talk. I don't just try to, you know, use a lot of buzzwords as a lot of education activists tend to do. I actually try to put it in practice in my everyday life, especially where I can influence somebody to move in a, culturally appropriate direction.
That's beautiful, Kato. Now, I know that you're also a part of Hillsborough County's task force. Did you want to highlight that a little bit and honor that and talk about some of the things that you guys do as far as with education?
Yes, thank you, Dr. White. So I'm honored to have been placed on the Hillsborough County African American History Task Force, which is in its infancy by current school board chairperson Lynn Gray, as well as one of my childhood mentors, Mr. Fred Hearns. A lot those from the community, those from Tampa know that Mr. Fred Hearns was one of the people responsible for building and fundraising for the new Middleton High School, which had ceased to exist for about 30 years until he and many other alumni revived it in the early 2000s. Okay, so they both, agreed to put me on the committee or on the task force. And one of the initiatives of the task force is to, well, there's several initiatives. One of the initiatives is to promote Black history education at all points up through college. For example, so with Hillsborough Community College, there's a current working agreement that Hillsborough HCC will provide professors to teach Black history to dual enrolled Hillsborough County School District high schools. So again, that's a big deal. I know
Yes.
from my own personal experience, when I was in 10th grade, I homeschooled the entire year. My mother taught me Black history every day as one of the 12 subjects that she taught me my last year before I graduated and started college. That really, that really gave me a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose. It's about a 500-page Black history book that you weren't going to see in any of the public schools, and you most certainly weren't going to see in any of the predominantly white private schools that I had attended. But she knew she needed to teach me about my people, about my lineage, and about the greatness that was Africa and Africans of the diaspora, at home every day. So I learned about all the people you don't hear about daily, like Matthew Henson and Mansa Musa, and Joseph, and of course Crispus Attucks, the first African to die in the American War for Independence. You know, uh,
Hank Aaron.
yes, Hank Aaron, of course, who just passed away a few days ago, one of the baseball greats. I learned about everybody, not just names. Um, uh, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, and
Right.
who else do we learn about all the time? Rosa Parks. Yeah, those are the four people. Oh, and George Washington Carver. Yes,
Yeah.
pretty much learn about those 4 or 5
Right.
people. That's it. That's all of Black history.
So, hey, I wanted to show you this book. I have been taking a dive at it.
Oh, okay.
Profiles of Great African Americans. This book has changed my life.
Yeah.
Um, and I have done my own digging because I must confess, I went to predominantly white schools myself. Every school I went to was predominantly white, and I
Yeah.
don't dock that at all. I'm grateful
No,
for my
no.
experience. But I can say that my own knowledge of African American history was weak
Yeah.
because I was not getting it in the institutions that I attended. And so I think that the work that is being approached here and being completed here is definitely on the right track for students,
Yeah.
especially for our K-12 population. So my hat goes off to them, and my hat goes off to you too, Cato. And so talk to us a
Thank you.
little bit about some of the things, some of the events that you guys might have planned um, with the African American Task Force. Talk to us a little bit about it.
All right, certainly. Well, thank you for this opportunity, Dr. White. So the main initiative of the task force is the upcoming March 6th, Saturday, March 6th, 10 a.m. annual Brain Bowl. Okay, it's been put under the auspices of the task force, and it's receiving a lot of support from the superintendent himself, from the top brass. They're again being intentional in how they market it, and how they put resources behind it. So literally everything that we need right now to make that March 6th event a success is being given to us. No begging, no pleading, just hey, this is what we need, and they make it happen. So Hillsborough Alliance of Black School Educators, which is of course the Association of African American Educators in our district, um, presents the fifth annual Black History Brain Bowl in partnership with presenting sponsor Urban League of Hillsborough County. Again, that's March the 6th, 10 a.m. Teams of 5 students, which 4 regular students and 1 alternate from each school that registers, will compete for thousands of dollars in cash prizes and the support of the community. And right now, we're in need of volunteers, so they can go to bit.ly, bit.ly / HABSE dash BHBB volunteers. Okay, they can go there to volunteer. We need up to 100 volunteer adults to work at Middleton High School on Saturday, March the 6th. Okay.
Okay, and
And then
so
also we need donations of food, cash donations, so forth to defray the event. bit.ly / HABSE dash BHBB donations. Okay, so that's 2 links right there.
wonderful. Now, is this link that I provided correct for those that will be looking? bit.ly / hapsy dot BHPB volunteers. That's correct.
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so you're in need of donations, you're in need of food, in need of just all different kind of things, and they can go to that link right there to
Yes.
find out, correct?
Yes, yes, they can go to that. Adults can go to that link to sign up to volunteer, and we will most
Wonderful.
definitely put them to work. And again, the idea is, hey, we're promoting Black history because what's wrong with with teaching people about themselves? Okay. However, we are also intentionally not limiting the teams to only African American students. Okay.
Hmm.
So if you're an Indian student or white American student or what have you, and your coach, your school's coach, deems it deems fits to put you on the team to represent the school, then hey, we encourage that too because every child needs to know about Black history.
I
What
love
good
that.
is it if I'm the only one that respects my history? When you walk by me, you look down on me because you don't understand that Africans invented almost everything in this country, from the refrigerator to the cattle car catch, to the gas mask, to the stoplight, to the cell phone, to the first working computer, to the sprinkler system, to irrigation systems, to cold refrigeration that moves your food. There's not too many things that Africans have and African Americans have not had their hands on since I guess, the infancy of this country.
I think that's powerful. And I think, like you said, what's wrong with learning about various history? And I think that it will definitely allow others who are not African American or Black or African to really have a better understanding of the background and the way things work.
Yeah,
I wish I would have had a brain bowl growing up. I had
right.
none of that. I had none of that. But I'm very grateful for the experiences that I did have. As an adult. Just continuing to learn history, African American history. And so, like I said, shout out to you guys in Hillsborough County and what you're doing. And so I'm going to put it back up there for those that need to know. So HAPSI presents the fifth Black Annual Brain Bowl, March 6th. It's going to be at Middleton High School. Do you know the time yet? Or
Yes,
okay,
yes, it starts at 10 a.m.
10
Okay,
a.m. Eastern Standard
yes, 10
Time.
a.m. Eastern. And just a quick note, there was one small, how do you say, typo in the URL earlier. There needs to be a dash instead of a dot
Gotcha.
after Hapsi.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you.
So this
Yeah,
right here, guys. That's why I asked you, Cato, if there
there you
was
go. Thank you. Let me verify that now because I'm a teacher. I have to verify.
two. Listen, that is the Bitly. So
HABSE, yes, yes, HABSE dash BHBB volunteers. So
excellent.
HABSE
Yay!
dash BHBB volunteers. So that's correct. Thank
All right. So you guys have that. So take a picture of it, type it down, do whatever you need to do to get that link so that you can decide how you want to donate, or your company wants to donate, or your family would like to contribute. We are definitely trying to support them in this endeavor. So I think this is very exciting, and it's going to be a great time to celebrate. Um, Black history and to celebrate the community coming together as well. I know there's a lot of that that's been going on. So Hillsborough County has a lot of wonderful things going on. It's seventh largest district. We've got an 88.8% graduation rate, and demographically speaking, over 70% of the students are minority, and they still are thriving. So that speaks a lot to this phenomenal district. And so I wish them the best. They are utilizing leadership of all ethnic backgrounds as well. And so, is there anything else that you would like to highlight about Hillsborough County
you.
on the show?
Yes, I absolutely want to say that we need to be intentional again, using the buzzword, be intentional about how we vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but I am going to tell you that Hillsborough County and other districts around the state do not have the adequate funding from the highest levels in Tallahassee needed to deal with an ever increasing population. In no other industry are you expected to grow your client base by hundreds of thousands to millions and actually be funded with less money. Okay, no other industry does corporate America think that even makes sense. But yet, year after year, teachers, students, school districts are asked to do more and more and more. And oh, by the way, make sure your students score as high as possible on standardized tests so they can get into colleges and institutions that are trying
Right.
that are becoming more, how you say, more exclusive
More competitive. Yeah.
by continuing to raise the average
Even in COVID. Yeah.
numbers,
Hmm.
for SAT scores for freshman classes. So it's very important that you look carefully and ask questions. Doesn't matter what your political perspective is. Your child deserves an education, a quality education. Every child deserves the technology in their school
That's
that's
the
not
truth.
run down, that's not, dealing with 10-year-old, 15-year-old computers,
Yes.
that are slow, running slow, and don't work on Wi-Fi half the time.
And Kato, in
That's
case
not
there's some,
acceptable.
yeah, what if there's someone that wants to reach out to you? Maybe they have a set of computers that they would like to donate to the district, or they would like to just donate and give to the Brain Bowl and give to the district. Do you have any
Okay.
information that I can give to them so that they can reach out and support and give
Well,
back?
absolutely. Yes, thank you so much for asking that, Dr. White. Yes, my Google phone number, which I don't mind the world having, is 305 814 5386. And yes, I
Okay,
do live
repeat
in
that for
Tampa,
me.
even though that's a Miami number.
305.
305,
Uh-huh.
yes, 814 5386.
804.
Let's see, 305 814
Okay.
5386. So that's my direct Google number. If I don't answer right away, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I do know all the key points of contact in the school district because I
Okay.
made it my business to know them. So if you have a donation for me, I know who to talk to to get it to where it needs to go. And I thank
Excellent.
you in advance for investing in Hillsborough County schools and our kids.
Yes, and Kato, thank you so much. Hillsborough County, just it's to me, it's just so special. There's something about it. It's just the greatest thing popping. I tell you, it's just wonderful, and so it's great to see all of the things that they are contributing to student success, and that they are still preparing students for life. And I just think it's going to be great. I know they're going to reach over their 90% mark, and it's
Yeah,
going to take all people at the table, everyone represented at the table. It's going to take a lot of grit, a lot of perseverance and endurance, and a lot of elbow grease. But you guys have everyone that you need there at the table, a phenomenal team. And I'm just honored to be linked among you guys. You guys are
thank
like
you.
family, and
Yeah,
to those that are not Hillsborough, and you're hearing us tonight, just know that this county is doing some great things. And if you are a philanthropist and you are a business owner, you are you're a doctor, a dentist, you're an author, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're looking to give back or you're looking to serve, this is definitely one of those communities and one of those districts that you will not regret putting your print in. So I would
yeah,
I would definitely put my plug in for Hillsborough County as well. So with
yeah.
that said, Kato, thank you so much. Do you have any last words for those, whether
Yes,
it's teachers, community members, students?
yes,
Go
yes.
ahead and talk to us.
All right. Well, two things really fast. First of all, thank you again, Dr. White, for honoring me by allowing me to be on your talk show. I want to encourage everyone, all community stakeholders, continue to support worthy initiatives like HAMSI's annual achievement ceremony, which is going to happen in May of this year, where they will honor over 1,200 high achieving African American students with a 3.0 or higher GPA. Okay, 1,200 African American students high achieving in one building at the same time, being great. We need to continue to push forward initiatives like that and recognize our children when they're doing wonderful things. And the second thing is teach like there's no tomorrow, and teach whether you're teaching one student or teaching 25 students in a class or teaching 1,000 students. Teach every time to try to reach at least one. You're not going to get everybody, but if you at least reach one student, then you've done your job. Never get discouraged. Know that eventually, at least that one student will come back and let you know, hey, you know, you really helped push me to where I am today. It may take years for them to come back to you, but when they do, you'll understand that it was well worth your while investing your time and effort and your heart into the youth.
That's so beautiful, Kato. And you're so right. I actually just had a student that I taught like 10 years ago reach out to me a couple days ago. So this message is so true. So,
Yeah,
so thank you for all that you do, Kato. And we appreciate you. Hillsborough County appreciates you. I appreciate you. Continue to soar on. We will definitely be in contact with you guys. There's his information right there. Call him and he will be able to forward over to you any information you need, as well as email. And different updates on events and whatnot. So you're definitely in good hands here with Kato Nord, and it's been a pleasure, Kato. Thank you so much, and thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining the Real Talk Show tonight with Dr. India White. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Spread this broadcast for those that need it. Definitely tell your friends about it. You'll know the inside scoop of Hillsborough County, and just know that I'm here for you guys. I hope that you have a phenomenal night. Don't work too hard. Get enough sleep. Know that you are valued. Your work is appreciated. Make sure to keep a balanced life. Make sure you hug the neck of your loved ones, and just be grateful that you woke up again, because it could have been different. So with that said, thanks so much, guys, for this phenomenal time. Kato, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
thank you.
And so with that said, you guys have a phenomenal night, and I'll see you next time. Bye, Kato.